Secondly, to increase a moderate religious understanding. The moderate groups in every religion must disseminate a humanist outlook. It is done in order to give a different perspective on religion, which facilitates tolerance and dialogue. The forms of dialogue show not only the variety of content and the scope of the dialogues, but also the quality. Besides this, the participants involved in the dialogues often exhibit different views to the goals of the dialogues. Those involved in the dialogues about social issues, for example, have certainly not yet been ready to enter into a spiritual dialogue. Therefore, interfaith dialogue are an attempt to overcome all forms of prejudice in the religious society. Dialogue participants believe that up to a certain point, faith can be discussed by human beings, among human beings, and communicated by language. In short, faith is dialogical. Faith is dialogical first between God and human beings, and second, among human beings. In this context, I do believe the interfaith dialogue is not only possible, but also necessary to engender an appropriate understanding of other religions. Through dialogue, each side understands the problems faced by other religions, and so there emerges a feeling of sympathy and empathy, which motivates a desire to work together and to overcome their problems. In the context of the international society, the term culture of peace has been echoed since 1997. In that year, the United Nations declared the year 2000 as the International Year of Peace and declared the years 2000 and 2010 should be the International Decade for a Culture of Peace and Nonviolence for Children of the World. So, the culture of peace is the integrated approach to prevent violent conflicts, which in time will bring and maintain peace. Through the culture of peace, acts of violence can be reduced in order to establish peace between human beings and their surroundings. In the context of developing the culture of peace, one of the basic points which should be considered is how religious communities can take active roles in building platforms for peace and tolerance. The values of universal peace and tolerance taught in all religions have the potential to enlighten leaders and lead followers of religion in establishing an everlasting peace each in their own surroundings. Now I will jump to how to develop the culture of peace through religious education. One of the ways to develop the culture of peace is to engineer an educational system that will underpin dialogue between religions. So far, education in religion taught in school tends to be more dogmatic and focused on rituals. Such education in religion develops a sense of absolute truth, which will not only result in denial of other religions, but also a different understandings of the religion itself. This approach to educating about religion in school underlines a literal and formalist comprehension. Yeah, I think such an approach will only cause the followers to be unable to act critically and with appreciation towards her or his religion and other people's religion. Therefore, it is not surprising that in many religions in different countries, religious differences have caused an inability to work together in creating a social world which is comfortable for everyone, like in Indonesia. So far, an appreciation of the plurality of religions has developed well among religious elites in many countries, including Indonesia, because they have developed a dialogue tradition and use a phenomenological approach in viewing other religions. The dialogue tradition should enable each follower of religion to act openly and develop communication with other groups.
Yeah. Sorry, pelan-pelan.
Oh, sorry, I'm so sorry. Yeah. Whereas the phenomenological approach should enable followers of certain religions to understand other religions from the viewpoint of the religion concerned. Such an approach will annihilate the sense of certain religious egoism, which judges other religions by their own viewpoint. Right now, the problem is how to spread such religious attitudes to the public so that an open attitude that respects other religions can be developed not only between elitists, but also for everyone. Our need is how to develop a pluralist attitude as a common attitude in our society so that we can create a harmonious relationship which will bring peace to different groups of people. In a broader sense, plurality also means respecting other groups with their various differences in terms of religion, ethnicity, citizenship, gender, social status, and so on and so forth. Strategically, such education in the plurality of religion must cover the following activities. First, pedagogical activity, where a curriculum for plurality education will be researched, engineered, and implemented. Secondly, dissemination activity, where a program of education in religious pluralism will be communicated to stakeholders of education and wider society. Thirdly, research and development activity, where the dynamic response by society toward violence, including relationship between religions, can be identified systematically and used for program development. And the last but not least, policy advisory activity, where we shall give effort to make change in policies in different levels of society towards the reinforcement of plurality in religion, which in the end shall bring peace, justice, and welfare for all of God's creation. As a conclusion, let me say that peace education is one of the ways to develop the culture of peace in promoting interfaith dialogue. Such educational programs for pluralism in religion must develop in respect of the fact that current educational system for religious taught in school is ideological, absolutistic, and formalist. We have to change this. Finally, the tradition to develop a dialogue between religion and to take a phenomenological approach in viewing other religions must be intensified. Why? Because it will enable each religion person to act openly and to develop communication with other groups and help them to understand constructively about other religions. Educational programs for pluralism in religion will also intensify our appreciation of differences of religion, ethnicity, and so on and so forth. My recommendation and solution. It can be concluded that Indonesia is unique. Indonesian Christian and Muslim communities are intensely influenced by local culture, which is tolerant, open, and inclusive, as well as respecting humanity. The Indonesian Muslim community is different to those of other areas, especially the Middle East. The Indonesian Muslim community has a long experience of living together, side by side, with people with different religions. The founding father of this country respected humanity and were active in efforts to overcome prejudice and campaign for justice and peace. Now, what should be done by all Muslims and Christians as their important contribution to the civilization of peace? I propose 3 concrete actions as follows.